All right. This is D-Boy from West Coast Uncensored. How's everybody doing? Wow, what a night, huh? How about the tonight is definitely a review of AEW Dynamite. Wow, what a show. Man, it got started off with hot and fire, man. This is when I really enjoy good professional wrestling when storylines are kept up and your interest is kept up. Especially the way that it was done tonight and everything that's going on is it's not a secret to us. Many places on lockdown. We got this virus going around that everybody's talking about, and definitely, a lot of fear, a lot of worry, a lot of panic. Um, and so to have something to fall back on, to get some little entertainment and be home and enjoy, and definitely with the show got started right away with that. But I, again, just love when I see professional wrestling done and storylines kept going and connecting, and one week means something to the next week, and then you start seeing this connect the dots, and the dots make sense. It just excites me. That's what professional wrestling is about. Something that's been missing from mainstream, and something that seems like we caught on and we got again. Good. I mean, another good AEW Dynamite. Um, the show was just unbelievable. Had two debuts. We'll get into all that, but we started off with the show with Cody cutting about I don't know, about a 5 minute, actually about a 7 minute promo, um, talking about how everything is right now and the reality of what's important in people's lives and what's not important, and the situation that we're all caught up in as a world, really, but us people are caught up in with everything that's going on now. And then he just said the importance of how small the world is and how we're all connected. Then he kind of took it into that it justified having this and doing this to give people something to look at and something to entertain and take their mind off everything that was going, the way everything is going, and everything with the situation with the lockdowns and the coronavirus. Man, I definitely gotta that reflection into my eyes. I don't like it, but I don't know if there's much I could do about it because I got to read some stuff. So, anyways, maybe if I'm back a little bit better. But anyways, it was top notch promo. It's already, I'm sure it's already out on the video, and it's already out on the social media. But a very dynamic show. The way they did it, it did start out. It was definitely an empty arena. They were at Daly's Place. They could not debut in Rochester because of the shutdown in New York. Both shows in New York this week and next week's show are not happening. Definitely Daly's Place tonight. They do, the owners of AEW, of course, are the own the Jaguars. This arena, which is like a arena that's adjacent on the same property as where the Jags play, is kind of looks like an open, like a stadium for orchestra. And they've had a few gigs there. They've actually had a Dynamite there January 1st, and then in the summer they had a free show that was on BR Live there, and it's really a nice place. It's actually good for TV, but it was odd at first looking at it with the situation with no fans. They did a good job after this promo, which this promo really kicked in about. I went from the promo to the reality of what we're all facing to the promo of the storyline, how the Bucks and the Elite are not getting along, and they've been taking hits, and the Inner Circle has got best of them, and everything that the Inner Circle has did, and everything the Inner Circle has did, and their cohesiveness between the VIPs, the uncohesiveness, and then he called out an Omega, and quickly Matt Jackson came out, and then they were talking, and then Cody was just being real with them, and then they both each talked, and both each agreed with them, and they said they're willing to take it back and do what they need to do because they are the Elite, and what they do as a group together definitely matters, and they will take it to the next level on how that all works and what's going to happen with that and what's going to go down with that, and they will be ready for this match tonight because the winner of this match would have the advantage at War Games, and I'll kind of get into that later because kind of the rules of War Games is fight one person at a time in for each team, and then the advantage is when you'll have a 3 to 5 minute. I think it's 3 minutes. It might be five. 2-on-1 advantage, and the winner tonight would have that 2-on-1 advantage through 3-on-2 advantage to 4-on-3 advantage to 5-on-4 advantage. And then with Nick Jackson's injury, they kind of talked about it. They are down a person. They were down somebody. So it really worked out well. It was really a good show, and this interview went well. Nick said, yeah, he knows what they went through, but he did ask, where's Hangman Page? Where's Adam? Adam comes down and drinking a beer, and they asked him, can he be part of this? Can he be part of a team? Can they trust him? Would he be on their side? And he is a half the tag team with Kenny Omega. He says definitely he would be part of it, and he shook his head. He didn't go into any explanation, so he shook his head that he could do it, and it was agreed upon there would be a 6-man tag tonight. It would be the Inner Circle with Santana and Ortiz and Hager versus Matt, Cody, and Hangman, and that would be the main event, and the winner would have the advantage at Blood and Guts, which is the War Games. Great promo to start out the reality dealing with life, and then great promo heading to the storyline and connecting, and then mentioning this will connect later in the storyline too, and mentioning the Elite's lack of cohesiveness, lack of chemistry, and problems within the Elite on many different levels, from hitting each other with moves, from botching moves as tag teams, from having problems that way with, of course, with Matt and Adam's matches, and Adam and Matt's problems. And then Omega and Cody meant they have not always got along on every aspect of what's going on. There's been a little tension, but they said they would put that all together. They agreed they're the Elite, and they would go forth and give their best, and this would be the main event for tonight. The very first match was Best Friends against the Lucha Brothers with no sign of Pac. So Pac wasn't there. And from what I gather and what I've heard, that some of the wrestlers would not make it. With this Corona thing on, virus, people are just not showing, and not, they were given the opportunity. Tony Khan said it would be held against them. Them that showed. Definitely Pac wasn't there, and I don't know if that's why he wasn't there, but he was not there. And Lucha Brothers were there, and they wrestled the Best Friends. A really good match, went back and forth. Orange Cassidy went to accompany the Best Friends, and Orange Cassidy went to the announcer's booth and had a seat next to Excalibur during this match. Did get up and get involved a little bit. Did go from the stage and jumped on the Lucha Brothers. Had that high spot, but this match went back and forth until finally the Lucha Brothers did get the win, and did with the small package, and the small package that Pentagon Jr. puts on. Ray Phoenix jumps off the top rope and lands on him, and then they just drives him down into the small package pile driver, and got the win. And before that, definitely some of the melee. The ref was turned. Referee Rensburg, he was turned and didn't see that Pentagon Jr. kicked Trent between the groin and took him out, and that led to the victory. And then the small package came after that. Tony Schiavone met them at ringside, interviewed them. They were not happy with the outside interference. The ref didn't catch it, but they challenged them to a street fight next week in a parking lot. That would be Dynamite. They want them in a street fight, no rules, street fight, one-on-one. Pentagon Jr., Trent, and Chucky T. No mention of Pac, and no mention of a 6-man. So I mentioned Pac's not there. I don't know if he went back home, because Pac's, I believe, lives in Europe, lives in the UK. I'm believing, and then maybe he couldn't get back over, or maybe it's just precaution. I mean, they were given, Tony Khan said their precaution is real, and they would be given the precaution of if they didn't feel comfortable with their health, not to show, and it would not be held against them, and it would not hold back their push or their storyline. So I think sometimes if you're not there, automatically your storyline is going to be held back because you're not advancing when you're not there. But I kind of thought about that, but they really did a good job with this, because at first the empty crowd makes you kind of expecting that. So what's special about AEW has been their crowd, and the fire, and the crowd being hot in every show. I don't know one show. There was some that wasn't as hot as others, and some kind of was hot, and then it would go away and then come back. But most of their crowds have been hot. Definitely AEW crowds are hot. not having a crowd there, how much. It didn't take me long to get over it because the match was good. And then the wrestlers came around ringside. On one side, you had MJF, Sean Spears, Tully Blanchard, and Wardlow, and they were actually betting money who would win matches, which is kind of funny. And they were very boisterous and loud. You can hear them through the match, yelling at the wrestlers, trying to keep a crowd noise. On the other side, you had SCU, along with Colt Cabana, Joey Janela, and some of the others on the other side, Sonny Kiss, and they were definitely rooting and going forward with this. Trying to keep crowd noise and some enthusiasm. Brandy definitely was a ring announcer, so that actually tells me that the ring announcer didn't make it. So Brandy, who did ring announcing, that's what she started, I believe, in WWE, was the ring announcer for tonight. So this was a really good match, and it got over really well. Um, um, and they challenged to a street fight in Tony Schiavone, so I would believe it's probably next week. And actually, it was announced on later in the show that when they announced the matches, that you will see that street fight on the next edition of Dynamite next week. So that feud continues and the storyline continues. Where Pac and Orange Cassidy was there, Pac wasn't. So it's not a 6-man as of yet. The next one was this is probably the best women match that I have seen so far. This was Riho, and Chris Statlander, Hikaru Shida, and Penelope Ford was in it. And I thought Penelope Ford, if you watched Dark the night before, Penelope Ford beat Riho. And I thought this was good because I see that Penelope Ford has star potential in the women's division. You just have to get her and push her. She is green. She has the look, but she has the attitude, and she does have some great offensive maneuvers. She's just a little green. I think she's only been in the ring for 2 or 3 short years. But I think she is, and I think putting her in this match was the push that she needs. And getting the win over Riho shows me that they're seeing what I'm seeing, that you need to push Penelope in some of the other matches where she got in Kip Sabian's matches. She was able to get involved and really get a pop, and you see her athletic ability and some of the things she does by getting involved was really as good. And that was my thought, was you got to get her involved. Really good match. Just one of the best women's matches in AEW. This 4-way, having Statlander and Shida, which I start seeing some chemistry at. At first, they started working as a tag team, helping each other, but this wasn't a tag team match. And quickly, Shida went after. Actually, Shida made the first offensive move after Statlander, and so Statlander went back after her, and they're working a cohesive tag team like they did last week. Didn't really happen. This was a 4-way, and after that there was no teaming as far as them two together. In fact, after they teamed and helped each other, Shida tried to pull a quick pin on Statlander, and Statlander was like, "Wow, I can't believe this. I'm trying to be partners with you, and you're trying to beat me." But the reality, this is a 4-way. This is not a tag match. And then Statlander got it. Statlander showed well. Shida showed really well. Shida gets the win. Pinning, and Riho got her stuff in. You can, all the talk that I've seen, when you really look at Riho's not green. Shida's not green. It was mostly the American women that were the green ones in us in America, we didn't know these Japanese women, and their style, but once you kind of can see how this is going, and it was a really good match. And like I said, Shida pinned Penelope Ford with a small package, but Penelope Ford showed well, got her stuff in, and did really well throughout the match, and showed her athletic ability and showed her arsenals. Penelope Ford needs to be pushed in that upper echelon. I do see them since the first year it flashes that this women division's coming in. This was one of the better women's division matches. I really thought so. Would I give it a 10? It's not there yet, but there was some cohesiveness. They got their stuff in, and they all kind of worked well. I didn't see too many botches. One time Penelope went through the rope, kind of messed up, trying to do it once, but otherwise they were pretty clean and did get over. And Shida got the win and pinned Ford. After the match, they went to commercial. Quick commercial, came back. Excuse me, and then. After they came back, Schiavone had an interview with Colt Cabana, who was at ringside, and Colt Cabana was talking and mentioned the fact that he was, doing well. He was 2-0. He had won his first two matches in AEW, and his win-loss record was good. And he was happy to be here, and he definitely is looking for the competition and to be here. And then he even mentioned the women's match was really good. He goes, Penelope Ford, even though she took the loss, she really did well. You've seen her arsenal. That girl's got special. And she goes, actually, the guy that's with her, her boyfriend or whatever is with her, he actually is holding her back. She needs to get away from him, get away from her because she's got a ton of potential, and don't let him hold her back. He heard it. He was helping Penelope at ringside. He approached Colt Cabana, a little bit of verbal jousting, and Colt gave him a little slap. He kind of looked at him and said, okay, you want this? I'm going to help her get to the ring because she was a little that, but you want some, you're going to get some. So look for Colt Cabana and Kip Sabian to do. Definitely, this is setting up their feud, and I expect them to be kind of going at it. If not next week. And it wasn't announced yet for next week, but I look for it very, very soon, possibly even giving them a match next week. So that was actually a good segment to get Colt and Kip going. Good match. The next match was the Butcher and the Blade against the Jungle Express. And this was definitely a good match. At the beginning, you could see that they were double teaming. The Butcher and the Blade really had opened up from the beginning after some good stuff by Jungle Boy. But once they got the advantage, Butcher and Blade, which I really like when you take them as a tag team. Some of you don't like them the way they are, but when you look at this is an old school tag team. A big guy reminds me of the Blade almost. The Butcher remind me a lot of type of Dick Murdoch type style. Those who you don't know who Dick Murdoch is, look him up. He actually was a tag team champion with Dusty a few times. They were called the Texas Rednecks and held a tag team title numerous times and was one of the top tag teams at that time in the world, Murdoch and Dusty Rhodes. Actually, here's a little story for you with that. Ric Flair was very young in the business. He was called Rambling Ricky Rhodes and wanted to keep that name. When he was young in the business, he actually traveled with the Texas Rednecks, and Ric Flair was carrying their equipment like a lot of young rookies trying to break in the business then, because Rhodes and Murdoch were established. And why I say Murdoch, he just is that old butt kicker, takes no prisoners, will whip your tail for $1. Physical, hard-hitting, stiff, big guy. I think he looks about 300. Definitely, I don't even mention him, but he definitely would fit that mold of a Haas, big guy. Definitely him, and he's a good tag team when you try the balance with him and the Blade, Pepper Parks. They definitely balance each other off. The big guy and then Pepper Parks, who's a good mat wrestler, but also has high flying spots himself. They actually are a good balance of tag team. A little old school and a little new school, and they're able to put that together to be pretty good. They're very good in the ring, and they use the old school professional wrestling traditional tag team match. Get a guy in your corner, tag in, and a lot of quick tags in and out. You don't stay in the ring, but you both have the same. You're looking to put a hurt, get on a body part, wear down that partner, stop him from getting to the corner and tag in his partner, and you beat him down. That's really what tag team wrestling is and was, and that's kind of where you win. And that's exactly what the Blade and the Butcher remind me of. They actually are a very good tag team. You can judge them all you want, but if you know wrestling and you know it, both sides, old and new, they are very good. Just like Uno and Grayson. People say, "Oh, no." In the ring, they're good. You're lying to yourself. Just be honest to yourself and look at it, and don't have your biased judgment of what you don't like and do like, or their look, or anything like that. Because what's doing and what you need to do in the ring, they're good. And so with the Butcher and Blade. So they really worked on Jungle Boy. They put the screws to him. They put the boots to him. They were working on body parts. They were beating him down. He attempted many times to get the hot tag, the Luchasaurus. They would take him in their corner, beat him down, not let him get away. He tried 2 times, couldn't, but the 3rd time he was able to get away. Jump over the Blade when he went down, flip, tag the hot tag Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus came in and cleaned house like he can, showing all his skills as a big man with those quick feet and quick and intelligent, smart feet. Was able to do that, take out both of the Butcher and the Blade, get a big pop if there's a crowd there. He got a huge pop. Able to do his gymnastic flips as a big man. He's one of the big men that definitely can go. In the old days we used to say guys that we call them light heavyweights or junior heavyweights, and say, oh, they're big, but they can move and have the talent and movabilities of junior heavyweight. That's definitely the 275, 285 pound, 280 pound, 6'5" Luchasaurus, 6'6" Luchasaurus. He definitely moves. He's quick, agile, definitely Thai, Kwando, definitely some martial arts mixed with some gymnastics, and that's what he used. And he is able to get his spots in and clean house. And this happened again, and they were able to tag again. And actually, when all this was said and done, Luchasaurus was able to get the pin on the blade, and actually there was control before that. So there's a little scenario in this match is that you can look and see this, and you can kind of say, hey. And I don't know if this will play in the storyline, but the way AEW's doing it, they don't do things for not a reason. Everything's done for a reason that usually they mark it and come back to, and you go, oh yeah, I remember that. This connects to this. That's storytelling. That's how you write storylines. Storylines aren't week, hour before the show, you grab it and tear it up. That's Creville. The storyline was very, very good. So actually, when they had the advantage towards the end of the match, which they did, MJF told him, go ahead and do what you need to do. Do your finisher. Do it now. Still playing like they're the hired hands, and he's giving instructions. He told him, take him out now. And Bunny was not there. Take him out. Do it to him now. Get him now. Take him out now. And it cost them the match. When they did that, they were not ready to win. They needed to apply the pressure they had probably a little longer. That what they were doing, they had the advantage. And MJF's assistance to them verbally and coaching them backfired, and actually MJF had a hand in the loss to them for them, and also MJF had the hand by the loss with this. And my thing is, I think this is going to play. It may be a few weeks, but you're going to see the storyline, and maybe this happen again where you're going to connect them. And I could see Parks and the Butcher say, we're not your hired hands no more. We're done with this. I could see that happening, because to me, that's well on the way to happening, because MJF's getting in this costs the Blade and the Butcher the match, if you ask me. So just kind of watch that storyline. That's why you got to really watch, because it's about storylines and storytelling, giving you the storylines for the booking long term. That's wrestling. That's the foundation of it. Anything that's been going on for the last, 18 years or less that doesn't do that has gone away from the foundation. I have a video on that called, if you ever look that up, called The Foundation of Wrestling, Sports Centric or Sports Entertainment. And it goes into the foundation of something that's been around a long time. This wrestling has been around here 100 years. If you do some research, you find they talk about it going back 175 years, going into France. And it was always the model of the foundation of it was sports centric. Bingo. This is what we're getting. That's the sports thing where everybody's the UFC. No, it's the sports centric wrestling that we're seeing. I just got that, because some people are saying they were delivered, but I see what they were doing is this. And so people had missed that. I'll explain later. Maybe another video I'll go over this again. But anyways, so the Butcher and the Blade get the win. Lost. The Jurassic Express gets another win. They go to commercial, and guess what they come back to? They come back to the Dark Order coming to the ring. And the Dark Order mentions the fact that they promised to deliver the goods, that the Exalted One was near, and that everything they had promised and delivered, that the Exalted One was near, and he'd be unveiled even tonight. Even now, they talked about it, and as they started talking about how they had promised, and that the Dark Order does deliver. Kazarian, Daniels go to the ring, and Christopher Daniels, who's been saying this is fake, this isn't real, this isn't, you guys are lying. Stop your madness, stop your lies, stop your manipulation, stop it. He says, this is a hoax. It's been a hoax from the beginning. Stop with your mess. You have not made Silverman and the other young, I can't remember his name, wrestler. You haven't made these better. You haven't made any of your guys better. You haven't did anything to increase anything that you promised them better. You're just stooging them out, and you're lying to them. You're making these promises that you can't deliver because you know it's not true, and you've been a liar. So we're telling you right now, me and Frankie, just telling you stop. The gimmick's over. The whole thing's over. What you deliver is a hoax. We're done. And they went to the ring and challenged, this is over. It's done. CD, Christopher Daniels, it's done. No more, no more. All of a sudden, the big screen comes on, and this character, this person dressed with a big robe and over his head coming, and you can see it's dark and light mixed, but you can't really see it good. And the robe is still over the head, so you don't see it. You can see the hands as they maneuver the hands, and you start seeing this, and I'm trying to figure it out, because through this match, you know what I'm thinking? Scorpio's not with them at ringside. Is the Exalted One? This would be a big throw. I said this would throw us for a loop if this Exalted One is Scorpio Sky, because you never thunk it. I would be like, Scorpio Sky. He's not at ringside with Kazarian and McDaniels. Is he going to come out and he's going to be the Exalted One? But all of a sudden, as it gets closer, he takes off his hat, and it's Brodie Lee. And Brodie Lee cuts a magnificent promo. See, I don't watch the other product. I know of Brodie Lee, but I don't know I've never really even seen him wrestle, and I don't know his promo ability. But Brodie Lee cut a promo, and I went, because I was looking at this, and I've heard other people who have more insight on Brodie Lee and where he was at the WWE in talking. And I know Matt Hardy from way back, and TNA. And I'm looking and I'm thinking, man, Matt Hardy in his situation probably does fit this, but is it too obvious? Is he not even coming? Maybe he wants time to himself. But then I remember Free the Elite, and I said, well, he had exactly got the Jacksons involved in this. And so it's something I never thought of this, but this will be revealed, and I'll bring this up later. So it's Brodie Lee. He tells them, Christopher Daniels, you're not the only old man that never believed in me. And I go, uh-oh. He's got the release to cut the promos on his own and be creative. He's never had this freedom to be this and cut the promo. I said, good for you. And I said, he's talking about Vandy Mac. That's the old man who didn't believe in him. But he uses it with Christopher Daniels. The next thing, they're looking at the video, the light shuts off. They're still kind of looking that way at the video with their eyes big, seeing they're revealing it's coming to them. There is an Exalted One. The light comes on, and Brodie Lee's behind him. He just flat out just clothesline cities Christopher Daniels into oblivion, and Frankie Kazarian gets beat down and clotheslined. He brought it, and then after the clothesline, he takes off the robe. Then he clotheslined him, and he walks out, and the Dark Order walk out, because at first, from everything I heard, it was like, well, does Brodie Lee really fit the Dark Order? But the way he did his promo and the way he looked and the way they brought it, it looked like he could do it, because he's going to be bad son of a gun. It looks like he's going to be promoted. He ain't going to be held back. He's, underused, underutilized. This is the same thing over and over and over. And somebody said, well, this is what WCW took guys who were used well, who just were too old, and they kept certain things around, especially one specific thing, and never really used them. And they just were over the hill. These are guys who were underutilized. Him, that still got something in the tank. Lance Archer, still something in the tank, because they were underutilized, especially Brodie Lee in WWE, underutilized. Big Hoss, and they've been on a Hoss hunt. They told us a while ago the biggest thing. I mean, I was listening to Jim Ross just the other day, and he says, "What's the thing you guys are looking for? What's the thing you're going for?" He goes, "We're looking for the big guys." Another big guy. Another big guy, 6'6", 300 pounds. Brodie Lee. Brodie Lee is the Dark Order, and I didn't think it'd get over, but I'm going to tell you it's going to get over, because I didn't know anything about promo skills, but he cut a promo about who he was, what he was, and when he said that thing, and what he did to Christopher Daniels, an old man. I said, oh no, he's fine. He should be very fine at the position of this. We thought, and this is what's so good. It's not holding people back. It's not producing something that is you don't know the outcome. You speculate who could be this and who could be this and who could be this. and which one falls into this job? Who could this be? But you don't know, and that keeps us guessing. That keeps you looking to what is next week, because then you find out, man, I didn't know, I missed it. Because my couldas and shouldas, like I said before, when the Dark Order came out and they said they were going to reveal the Dark Order, I was like, I'm thinking, could it be Scorpio? Scorpio's not ringside. Could it be Scorpio? Could Scorpio be the leader of the Dark Order, the foundation of the young buck of the SCU, the young superstar, the guy who could even go talked about could go single and have a good singles run? He wasn't there. And I can imagine, we can speculate. I'm not going to speculate why he wasn't there. But it was Brodie Lee, made his debut, clothesline, physically awesome, took out SCU, and then that's how it went. Brodie Lee is the exalted one of the Dark Order, and his robe and his dress, I mean, he fit the part with his beard and that, and then his promo. I said, when he cut his promo, I was like, okay. As many of us suspected, I thought Brodie Lee was probably going to be Jake the Snake Roberts guy, and we found out very quickly last week that it was Lance Archer. So many people, the most belief it was going to be, and I heard some people who didn't. Some people called out Brodie Lee that it was going to be Matt Jackson, but it wasn't. It wasn't Matt. It was Brodie. So that's kind of how that segment ended. The Dark Order revealed the Exalted One. Then after that, they went to commercial, and then they came back with the interview with Jake the Snake and Lance Archer with Tony Schiavone. Another golden. Jake was an all-time great interviewer, promo guy. I mean, those old school guys all could do it. Even the mid-card old school guys could do it. When you're on top of the game and you are a promo guy that just are very, very good at it, like Jake is. Jake's very good at it. You're going to have it. So Tony Schiavone says, proceeds to ask Lance Archer a question, and very quickly Jake cuts him off and said, nope, he's not here to speak. I'm here to speak for him. We gave Cody a chance. We didn't come here just to be angry or mad or take anything out on him, but it will happen, and actually it is now. He disrespected me. I'm a Hall of Famer. I'm an all-time great. And when I came, and he never said nothing. He never even acknowledged me. So now he has to pay the price. And my man here, my client right here, he will deliver that price. We are here for Cody. We were here to bring vengeance on him. We were here to do what we said we're gonna do. He disrespected. He ignored. He didn't even acknowledge me of who I am, being this all-time great, being a Hall of Famer. He didn't acknowledge me. He didn't answer back to what I had asked him. He didn't show me the respect. So now Cody must pay. And it won't be a fun pay. It will be a hard pay. It will be the pay that will always be remembered. And he just went and cut a great promo. And while he's saying that, Lance has this look, like a killer look, like I will destroy, and like he's just getting angered more that he says that Cody hasn't respected this situation, has not respected them. So after that, they go to they leave, they walk away, and then they have a vignette. The AEW has really brought some great vignettes, and they've allowed the wrestlers to be creative with their own vignettes. And this was another good one. It was like a back street in the hills of, in the country, with a ring in the backyard, with all of these crazy looking customers. Some guys looking like something you would go in the country and get caught up in Deliverance look. 10 or 12 of them. Some with paint, some big, some looking weird, just strange looking people. And it said, then Lance got in the ring with them and just started taking all 10 of them apart, saying they all must die, was written. There was this 8x10 picture of Cody, and through it, it had Cody Rhodes pinned up on it, like on a wood, like a barn over by there. And it has Cody Rhodes' picture. And then through it was written Caesar, which on the first promo that Jake cut, remember Jake was calling him Caesar, called him Caesar twice. Just perfect. The vignette lasts so long. He wreaked havoc, just showing slow motion of him. He just beating down people from chops to the kicks to throwing them over the rope, throwing them over the ring ropes and to the others. beating him down. And after he beat them all and they're all laid out at that ringside, then he walks out and there's one left that challenges him. He picks him up, slams him on the hood of a car, then grabs his head and proceedingly keeps slamming his head about 5 or 6 times into the car, takes him off the hood, dumps him on the ground, and just looks. And then Jake is just walking with him with this look like, oh yeah, this is going to be fun. Jake with that devious old Jake Roberts, how he used to be back in his day, definitely being a bad guy to the max, being a heel. Perfect. Jake's playing it up. Good for Jake, man. He's clean, and they're giving him this opportunity. He's clean. He's changed his life, and if he can do this, it's not working $300 a week. It's only once a week. Man, good for Jake. Get an opportunity. You clean your life up. You clean your act up, and then AEW gives you this chance to show what you're worth and show what you can do, and gives you this chance in life. And it's kind of that story that you should never give up on yourself. I'm just going to the real, because you never know, even at his age in the 60s, it's been only 3 years, he's cleaned up his life, something like that, and doing this. And now AEW's giving him a chance to manage a guy they brought in from Japan. Those who are not familiar with Lance Archer, used to be Lance Hoyt, I believe, in the WWE. I believe he had some TNA also run. And then, but the last 3-4 years, he's been in New Japan. It had a great run in New Japan, especially the last the beginning of this year. But his contract ran out. He was going pay per, because I guess he was getting paid his last few months there, paid per match, because the way that New Japan does its wrestling, but did not ink a long-term deal. Has inked, I believe, a 3-year deal with AEW, and they're going to push him. So look for like Brodie Lee and Lance Archer. They wanted some big guys. They got Wardlow, they got Brodie Lee, Lance Archer, they got the Butcher. Dustin would be that big guy, Luchasaurus. So there's some big guys there now, and I do expect that. The rumor came out after that last pay-per-view for TNA, the one, not the last one, but the one before that, over Impact. Brian Cage is gone. That Brian Cage would be the next guy that would be coming. And then the rumor came out by SoCal Uncensored, who never really lie. SoCal Uncensored know their stuff. And then that's kind of died down because they denied it. His wife went on social media like the next day, Melissa Santos, and they kind of denied all this was happening, that he was signing there. And then he did get an injury, but I don't think that injury turned out to be as bad as I thought they would. I think he'll be back much sooner. And here's my take. He did sign, and he will be there. So, and if Brian Cage comes there, you're talking about another 290-pound guy, another Haas, and Brian Cage's cat. So that's kind of my insider. I'll talk more about it on rumors and stuff. I kind of mentioned on the last one, but I kind of have this feeling that we're going to see Brian Cage not too far. He'll be another one added. There'll be some good additions this summer, definitely, and possibly the spring before the summer starts. So, Lance, and so they cut that. Lance Archer's revealed. Jake is his manager, and man, and this is where I didn't know. I thought Brodie Lee would be the one, probably would be fitting to be with Jake. It's not. Brodie Lee's the Dark Order, and I didn't know if that was a good fit. And I've never seen Brodie, and people know thought it wasn't. But after tonight, in his promo and the way he acted, the way he wore it, and we'll see if it continues. I think it can work. I see it being very effective, and I think they'll push the Dark Order. They have been trying. Add Brodie Lee. I think there's no doubt you can push that team. They can win the tag team title, and it wouldn't surprise me if they're the next tag team champions. It really wouldn't surprise me. But anyways. Going from there, we went to an earlier, I didn't miss this, second segment, Jon Moxley had an interview. Jon Moxley was outside the arena. Shivani met him and talked to him and says, I understand that you're not allowed in the arena. You're not even allowed in here. You're not cleared to wrestle, that you're out for at least another week and you're not cleared, so you won't be here. And he says, yeah, I don't want to come here and start anything and have to put my hands on the police or do anything like that. So I will. But you know what? I got my eyes on the inner circle. When they don't think I'm around, I will always be in their shadows, to be around, to be on them, to be spying, to be getting ready for when I deal with them the way they dealt with me, and taking another, he just cut a great promo. Of course, now that you have freedom to cut promos, you got some talent there. And those are all these guys. I'm not talking about Moxley specifically. Just coming out and have that freedom to speak, get the bullet points, and you speak it, and you be creative, and you say what's from your heart, and you act it out, and you do it. That's a whole, you can feel the intensity, you can feel the emotion, and you can feel all that. this leads to what I thought, and I'll bring back to this reference of Moxley after this as we go into our last segment. This last segment is after that after the Dark Order's revealed in the Lance Warrior, we go back to the main event. This is the Elite versus the Inner Circle. This is Santana, Ortiz, and Hager versus Cody, Matt, and Adam Page. This is for, like I was talking about, how the War Games works. The first person with the advantage, the team that gets the advantage in War Games, will always have an advantage when the extra men start coming in, because the match doesn't end until all men are in, and then it's submit and surrender. It is not pin. It's not escape. And I don't know how WWE's ever did War Games. Just being honest, I don't know how they've ever did it. I know the original War Games, because I was even witnessed it live in '88 in Oakland, California, at the Kaiser Convention Center. I witnessed the Great American Bash War Games back then, and Dusty was in the War Games. That's how I know. I've seen the territory area. I've seen the changes from the '80s when the slaughter of the territories, that's what I call the '80s, to now. Like I said, you go over my history. I've mentioned it a few times. But anyways, the team that gets an advantage will have the advantage from 2-1, from 3-2, from 4-3, and from 5-4. For 3 minutes, I believe it could be 5. From 3 minutes, they will always have those advantages, and it is an advantage in War Games to have those advantages, because you will have more people in also in that match, and you'll have those advantage where you have more people in the ring than they do, where you can do your physical damage because you're looking for submit or surrender. So if you can beat somebody down for those 3 minute, you're looking at anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes of always having an advantage. You can go serious and beat downs to get the advantage. So this is what this match was, to have the advantage. This match started really quick. This match had Cody and Santana start it. After both teams were interviewed, it had Chris Jericho also coming in last, but Chris Jericho coming in and going to the announcer's booth along with Ross. And of course, I forgot to tell you that Shivani was totally on announcing booth and ring, and Excalibur, Taz, and JR were the announce team the whole night tonight, and Shivani that's a fearsome foursome, if you ask me. And if all the things in the beginning when these guys started working together, excluding Taz, and never working together before, and all the negativity, we don't hear it no more because it took months. But guess what? This team, this announce team flows now. So all the negativity and all that, things are going to happen once in a while. Mistakes are made, but that's gone, because those are later days. And people didn't have patience to wait it and wanted to be judged. Shame on you. Have patience, man. Now, if you're just here to knock the product, you're going to just knock it no matter what. It could be the best thing ever, but you'll find a way to turd on it. But I'm not talking. I'm talking those who give it a chance and wait it out. Like I don't have confidence. I'm going to wait out that this women's division will be fixed. I see a couple of women that you could get to do it and help with it. I could see the women that you got that are good, but we'll go away from that. Cody started with Mr. Santana, and they started good. Cody, and definitely getting his stuff in. Santana, great tag team wrestler. Can't say enough about Santana and Ortiz. They were able to do what they needed to do. Cody though early got the advantage, and him and Matt tagged in once and twice. And Hangman was upset. Hangman even said, why didn't you tag me? Cody's already been in. You tag Cody. Cody's been in twice. So already you could see the pushback and Jericho on the commentary seat. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. This is not a cohesive unit. This is a unit that's been in dismay. This is a unit that has problems within themselves. This is a unit that has injuries. This is a unit that had one of the brothers doesn't get along with one half Jackson doesn't get along with Paige. Paige comes to the ring and drinks. The brother's other brother, he's worried about his mind on him because he got hurt. We tried to save him underneath the door, and they're blaming us, but it really wasn't us. And his mind is not really on the match. His mind is on the health of his brother. And then he doesn't like Adam Page because he came out to help Adam Page, but then he flipped him off. They flip off each other every week. The Elite have no cohesiveness, and there's no problem within the inner circle. He keeps reiterating that through the match. And it happened. But finally, Matt was in, got it for his second time. Matt tagged himself in when actually, excuse me, not Matt, but Hangman Page tagged himself in when Matt actually was on a roll. Matt actually had an advantage and had momentum going, had them reeling, and Hangman definitely came in and tagged him in the back and was able to take his place. And Matt said, go ahead, you tagged in. I'm not going to fight you. Go ahead, go do your thing. Of course, he got the hot tag, and he brought his action because Hangman Page, more and more, I could see ever since they changed his character and brought Hangman Page to that level. He was he's a combination of athletic and strength, kind of like that lightweight, heavyweight that's got all the lightweight stuff too, and definitely strong, and definitely has some strong style, and definitely with that buckshot lariat, definitely is a great finisher, and then his athletic abilities off the chart. But since they gave him this character, he's definitely got over. And this storyline is getting over because we really don't know what it's going to get. And that's another thing I'm talking about AEW. But this goes back and forth. But then Cody gets in the match, and Cody has a long beat down. They go into, like I was talking about, the Blade and the Butcher. They get Cody in the corner. They three make tags. They tag in and out twice. They're just beating down Cody. All three of them, Hager and Santana and Ortiz, they're keeping him in the corner. They're blocking him. They never let him get in the corner. Both Matt Jackson and Hangman and Page, hands out, wanting him in. Tag me. Come on, Cody. Arn Anderson's there, actually, too. Arn Anderson's coaching him on. Finally, Cody was able to get loose, gets in there, tags. Adam Hangman Page gets a hot tag, goes crazy, does his stuff. Ortiz, Santana, even Hager, advantage elite. There's no crowd, but Cody goes on the outside. He's over there talking to MJF. Ortiz comes in. Cody grabs Ortiz, power slams him onto MJF on the outside. Crowd would have popped if there'd been a crowd there. I definitely popped. It was a good scene. This goes back and forth. Definitely get a match. Santana, actually Matt and Hangman Adam Page do some stuff together. They look at each other. They look at each other like, can I trust you? Can we do it? And then Hangman says, let's do it. Let's get them. And they're going to work together in cohesiveness. And we're like, oh yeah, here we go. We got Hangman and Matt putting their differences behind, and actually are going to do the Meltzer driver with Hangman doing Nick's job, where he's going to jump onto the ropes and then springboard, and they're going to pile drive Santana while Matt holds him up. But as he gets on there ready to jump, Hager grabs his feet, slams him down. His head hits the ring mat. He falls out. Nick can't hold him anymore. They flip over, roll over. Santana gets the pin, and the Inner Circle gets the advantage for the War Games for Blood and Guts next week's TNT show. The Inner Circle, Jericho is just livid at ringside at the announcer's booth, just spouting off how they got the advantage. And then he grabs the mic and then he's just talking how they and the Elite are in the ring. They're dejected. They've lost after getting beaten down. And now after getting beaten down this week, they lose the advantage match. The Elite the Inner Circle's giving it to them now every week. I mean, they're at a desperate place right now. And then here comes Jericho, just cuts a promo just talking about how every aspect of the Elite is disorganized. They have no cohesiveness. They have no chemistry. And he just breaks down all the problems from Matt, from Matt Jackson losing his brother to Matt Jackson not at all trusting and having any cohesiveness with Hangman Adam Page, and Hangman Adam Page drinking on the job, drinking at ringside, not flowing with anybody, and just getting drunk at ringside and not knowing the difference between when you work and when you party. He just goes on and he goes, Kenny Omega's injured hand, Cody and them. He goes, all you guys don't have nothing going. Now you lost the advantage match. How do you expect to win? Not having the advantage anymore. You couldn't get this advantage. We're such a he just goes into the cohesiveness that there's no problems within their Inner Circle. They have no problems with each other. They're a well-oiled machine. They're a total machine. And now they've won. They got the advantage in War Games that the Elite have no chance. They have no chance. They know they don't have no chance. They know they don't have no cohesiveness. And to think next week that they have a chance, Cody, and then he says, "You guys know you don't have a chance. Everything you do doesn't work together, and everything we do does everything work together." He just keeps cutting how much the inner circle now. Just there's no shot next week. They said at War Games, we will destroy the elite probably for good. We will dismay you. We will, do everything that we need to do to win this. You guys are done. You're talking about a well-oiled machine against a team that has the elite have no cohesiveness. They don't even like each other. They don't even get along. And then all of a sudden, here comes Matt Jackson says, and then flying over is God, I can't remember what they're called. You take pictures of them. Anyways, I'll think of it in a minute. So it comes over, and the elite are looking up at it. What is this doing here? What is this about? Sammy and Chris Jericho and all of them are looking up at it, and they're like, "What is this about? Why is that there?" They're dismayed, and then Matt Jackson speaks up. He goes, "You had everything right, but you forgot one thing. We're resilient. We are who we are, but I have a friend that owes me a favor and is willing to help. And you do have an advantage because you won tonight. You have the advantage of the one person in. But it won't be 5 against 4 because Chris Jericho had reiterated. Only that, you have 4 against 5. We'll have the advantage the whole time. He'll never be even with us." Then he says, "The thing you're wrong about, it won't be 5 against 5. No, my brother's not here. We don't have another person within the elite. But there's somebody that owes me a favor, a big favor." Then all of a sudden, the light goes up at the other side of the arena, and there is standing in the light with this look of crazy, wild man look in his eyes, Matt Hardy. And he makes the sign like this, and then they gets a close up on Jericho, and Jericho has this look like, "I can't believe this. I can't believe this is happening. No, I can't. No." He's just bewildered. They show all the inner circle, and they just can't believe it. And Hardy just gesturing, and that's how the show ended. And then Matt Jackson says, "He owes me a favor. It is 5 against 5. He'll be joining us next week at War Games." And that's how it ended. Revealing of Hardy, Brodie Lee. And this is what I was going to tie into early when I was talking about Moxley. I had been wondering, Nick is gone, injured in the storyline. So Nick is not there. I was thinking, is it Moxley? Moxley's a lone wolf. And my wife, who's just really watching wrestling, never really has in the past. Because when she met me, I didn't. I had know my story 2001, I left. Nick is gone. It's 4 against 5. All advantages look at the inner circle, and then all of a sudden the close-up is Jericho recognizes who it is. And this is what I said. I thought this could be Moxley. Moxley's been the lone wolf and has been a loner. My wife pointed out to me, and he definitely has. I thought, though, that we may see him say, "I'm not the elite, but we have something common," that Moxley could have came. I was expecting Moxley to come out and be crazy, just a crazy bull, just kicking tail and taking names this week after what happened to him 2 weeks ago. But this isn't what happened. It wasn't. And this is what I'm talking about, AEW. They have you guessing and looking at scenarios of possibly storylines, could have been, should have been, maybes, and could it be's. And it wasn't. It was the revealing of Matt Hardy is going to be, and the storyline goes with him freeing the Delete show and bringing in and freeing Delete the Jacksons 2 weeks ago. So this week, he replays them, but his look on his face and pointing even at the elite, at the inner circle, and then looking at them with this look like, I'm here and I'm taking kicking butt and taking names. He just look at this crazy look and pointing at him. And Chris Jericho's look, I cannot believe it. And definitely, there's definitely got to be a history with Jericho and Hardy in the WWE. I would suspect whether it's tag team matches or even single matches, or if he tagged with somebody to team against the Hardy Boys. But this really set up next week is Matt Hardy will be their teammate. Matt Hardy will tag team with the Elite, be their fifth partner in War Games against the Inner Circle. This looks to be very good, very interesting. And on a quick note with that, that's going to be a match next week. On a quick note, we have a couple other matches. We will have the street fight with the on next week. It was announced next week's show. We will have the street fight with Trent and the best friends versus the Lucha Brother in the parking lot in the street fight. We got that. The other match that we will have Luchasaurus. Get this. Luchasaurus, the big man, versus Wardlow. Guess what this match is going to be? This is going to be the old, God, what is the name? Where you, not coal miners, but you toss them out and the other wrestlers surround the ring and they toss you back in. Man, stuff's slipping, dude. Been busy today on the NFL stuff, which will be released. I got some videos coming out on the NFL that. Been really busy day on that and working too. But anyways, and also the other match will be, those two matches for sure are announced. Expect some more. I expect they will give the main event a lot of time because War Games can be lengthy, at least 30 to 40 minutes at the 35 minutes at the least. So expect to only be a few matches and then we'll give them War Games time. Man, with everything going on, it was just a great match, a great dynamite. Made me forget about the crowd, the way they did it. And man, it was a great match, great review. And then Brodie Lee and Matt Hardy both come in and debut on this episode. You guys have a great day. See you next week. We will meet up again real quick. We will have our reviews and rumors. God, almost reviews and rumors kind of got answered tonight. These three guys have been released the last 2 weeks, have made their debuts. We got more coming, but we'll have that. We'll have some more insider news on what's happening, and maybe some storylines with this and some other things later in the week. And also, you guys have a great day. This is D-Boy from West Coast Uncensored. See my mocks there? He is the AEW World Champion. What will happen with him? Because he said he will be around Blood and Guts. He's looking still for them, and he said he will be in the arena, and he'll be looking for the Inner Circle. We'll see you guys. West Coast Uncensored, D-Boy. Have a great evening.